Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to drive Portimao in the wonderful Alpine hypercar. And my name is Gregor Schill. I'm a professional test driver and coach for the Coach Safe Academy and esports driver for the BS Plus competition racing team. And without further ado, let's get into it. So before we start, for example, our quali lap, we want to maximize the speed as much as we can. So it's important that you try to have a bit of a later turn in, so you can open the steering wheel slightly earlier to just get like this maybe 1 kph more top speed on your flying lap at the end, which can of course, you know, maybe be the reason why you are starting from, you know, P1 and not P2, for example. And as we arrive now on the start finish straight, we have not really a lot of time to adjust to our braking point because everything happens so fast, right? And what we do here is, as soon as we can spot the curb on the left side, we watch out for the 150-meter white line, and it is exactly here, as you see. You see there further ahead, it's the 100-meter line, which also has like the meter symbol on the left side, the 100. But we, for the hypercar, we take the 150-meter board, and as the board is much further here on the left side, what we do is, as I said, we use the white line and we just brake after we've passed it really hard, because we go downhill and we have a lot of, you know, grip on the front tire, so we can really go really hard into the brake pedal. And as soon as we start to turn in, we need to trail, otherwise we will lock up. Try to carry a lot of speed, but only as much as when you hit here the apex, you're able to be you are able to go into the power again. And on the exit here, be careful with the track limits, because if you just drive like that over the white line, this will be an instant cut, so don't do that. Try to stay within the white line, so to say. And now, literally also one of the hardest sections now in the hypercars. It's this turn 2, 3, 4, even 5 combination, if you want to call it like that, because what you try to do here is you stay pretty tight here, and then you open up the steering, you start braking as soon as you know, arrive here on the left curb. What I would recommend, you don't try to take too much in the hypercar, especially as you don't have ABS. It can cause quite quickly lockup. So if you don't have really the this fine feeling in your brake pedal, rather stay like those 30 centimeters on the tarmac than on the curb, because also for me, consistency wise, it's much easier to do those next corners quite on a good level, you know, without taking the curb. So just my 2 cents here. Why is this corner so difficult? So if I reverse here slightly and we focus on the braking, you'll realize it. So as we arrive here from the right side, we have consistently a bit of steering lock, so we'll never have like a straight steering wheel. So even here, when we start to brake in a straight line here, we have already some turning radius almost applied, so we never really can smash into the brake pedal here. It's always trading the grip for turning and braking. This is why we have quite a soft and low peak here, as the tire just doesn't give us this amount of grip. So as I said, much lower pressure peak than compared to turn 1, and then we need to trail brake till the apex to get the car rotated. As soon as we hit the apex here, we try to be going onto the power. Don't go too aggressive, because then you'll lose the rear, but still quite confidently, so you can get the car onto the right side, do all the rotation at the bottom of the hill. So when you arrive here at the apex, you can just drive through the corner with neutral steering, which happens because of the oversteer and the elevation change. And because I know that this section is so hard, we will have again a look at it in Delta in the hypercar. So here in Delta, if we now go through this section here, we see, first of all, turn 1, as I said, quite hard braking on the power at the apex, and now our favorite section starts. We need to already start braking before we maximize the track, and this is what makes it so hard, because you're still in the phase of opening the steering here, which doesn't really allow you to brake really hard here initially, as you see, because we need to drop the brake quite rapidly, and only when we're able to just get the steering straight, we can press slightly harder to get the car settled on. But then we have no time anymore, because we need to already turn in and start trail braking till the apex, as you see, to get the car rotated. As soon as we arrive here at the apex, you see we go quite confidently onto the power. So as you see here, the first 60% is quite an aggressive step, and then the last part we apply as soon as we get the steering wheel neutral. And without even resting, we try to bring, as you see here, the car over to the right side to then open up the exit for the uphill left-hander, which is crucial, otherwise you will have a hard time getting it flat out. I hope this makes the section a bit more clear, so let's jump back into LMU. Arriving now on the exit of the uphill left corner, it's important to understand that the track limit is also here quite strict, so you want to stay again within the white line. So this is fine, but this here would be already a cut and you would basically invalidate your lap time. Now all eyes focus on the meter boards on the right side for the downhill braking. And you see the 150 meter board here. You can take the Rolex sign next to it here on the left as a reference point. So after you've passed it, you start to brake. It's like 130 meters before, 130 meters, so 30 meters before the 100 meter board. And you can brake here again really hard because you go downhill, you have all the weight onto the front axle. And really crucial, don't try to flick the car like that too early into the corner, because this will cost you a lot of lap time, as you need to wait way too long till you can go onto the power. So really try to delay a bit your entry point, and when the time comes, essentially you start to turn in and you trail brake till the apex. It's important that you try reduce the brake in time, because if you don't, you'll lock up instantly. So we trail. Now we arrive at the apex, and that's where we can go aggressively on the power, maximize the track here on the exit. Be careful again with the white line. Now this uphill left-hander is flat out, but that's not the corner we worry. The two corners we worry about are the ones after. And how do we approach them? This one is flat, as I said. You try to stay here on the left side. As soon as you reach now here this left curb, you go off the throttle and just use really softly, like 5-10% maximum, your brake pedal to get the front and bite into the corner. When you have the feeling that the front or the car rotated just enough, you can apply here a bit of throttle to just gain some speed back, so you can have a normal braking phase for the next apex. If you don't do that, you will always overslow the following corner. So always try to compensate slightly here with some throttle to increase the speed again. So when you arrive in here eventually on the left side, you then can start to brake with 50-60% around. And again, really crucial, as soon as you turn in, you need to trail till the apex. Otherwise you will just lock up the tires and you'll go not to the apex but way to the left. When you arrive here mid-apex, you go aggressively on the power, open the steering, run wide, maximize the track. It helps you to get the power down. And now for the downhill left, which shows in the uphill one, is flat out, but no brake at all. Now we try to position the car straight, and our reference points disappear quite quick, and we need to have again a look onto the left and shift our focus there, because you see like this orange marker on the wall and the barrier, which is also orange. Those are our reference points. We brake after that, and then you can judge the distance when you need to brake compared to where the car is and the 50 meter board. So this is our reference point for this corner, and if you watch really out that you start to brake here now after the orange wall disappears, you'll have a really good braking point where you can start your braking application. And it's crucial that as soon as you turn in here, go out of your peak braking pressure, maybe even earlier, because you don't have the grip on the front tires. If you brake here too hard, you will just lock your fronts and understeer out to the left. So really rather be much softer under the brakes than too hard. And when you are done with your first initial slow down process or brake process, that's where you can then start to trail till the apex to help the car rotate. And when you arrive here at the apex, or even just before, you can start to be going aggressively onto the power. And as I know, even for myself personally, this section, or those corners, are literally the hardest for me on Portimao to get right. So let's have a look again, you know, to those corners in Delta. So you see, all of our braking we try to do in a straight line, because as soon as we start to turn in, we have literally no grip for braking. So really hard braking, and gradually going out of the brake to help the car essentially with the grip. And as soon as we start to turn in, you see here, we go out of the brakes quite aggressively, and then just modulate slightly the brake to get a bit of front bite if necessary to get the car turned as much as we need. And as soon as we're done with the rotation, we can go onto the power and exit the corner really quick. And especially if we look here at the braking trace, you see what I mean with, you know, trail braking. This first part is all about getting the car to slow down and then not locking up. This is why we are forced to go so gradual out of the brake. And this is just the last part of doing some speed adjustments and getting some front end to help the car to get around this crucial corner. Now for the downhill left, uphill left, if you want to call it like that. I'll just quickly reverse. And this one is easily flat out, but the next one can, you know, caught you quite quickly off guard because you need to brake earlier than you think. So what do I mean by that? As soon as you arrive here on the right side, you can't even think, and you need to start to already brake here. So you know the white line here on the right side from our GT3 lap guide. So you don't even see that when you start to brake. So just before you arrive there, that's where you brake. Pretty late turn in because we need to drive a late apex. And as soon as we arrive there, we go as quick on the power as the car allows us, essentially. And it's important for you, so if I quickly reverse that. When you arrive here on the exit of the hairpin, you try to go as quick as you can over to the left side again to open up the next hairpin or right-hander. And when you arrive here, just slight brake application. You don't really slow or use the brake here to slow the car down. It's more about really getting some load onto the front axle to help the car getting around the corner. So this is why the peak braking pressure in this corner is really low. And when you arrive in here at the apex, you can start to go gradually onto the power. Just accept the grip the tire gives you. Don't try to overdo it, because you'll get maybe an oversteer step then, and then your lap time is completely gone. So definitely watch out for that. And when you arrive here then on the exit, be careful to not be happy too early, because you can invalidate your lap here quite easily. So just try to stay again here within the white line. And really important here, don't do an early turn in, because you think the corner may have an early apex, but it's much later than you think. So definitely again a quite late turn in, which will help you to get the corner easily flat out. As we arrive here now on the start finish straight, not much for me to say other than thanks for tuning in. If you want to compare your own lap against the lap I showed you, make sure to check Delta out. If you want to watch a quick hot lap around this track, make sure to watch the video until the end, because there you will see myself driving the Alpine on the limit. And other than that, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the lap guide, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.